Hello, everybody. This is the recording and the live Wisdom of the WaSheShu with Mountain Eagle. It's all about Mountain Eagle, and I'm waiting for him. uh, we're gonna wait for people to be logged in, wait for Mountain Eagle to be here. We might chit chat just a little bit at the beginning to allow people to come in. But at the same time, I think we just want to dive in and just do whatever it is that we're doing. So I have a mix of let's just get it all done. I'm fiddling with technology, and I'm gonna also see. Okay. Oh, there we go. Dahlak, I see you, which means I can turn my phone off. Yep. Okay. Dahlak, unmute yourself so I can see you. Looks like you're on your phone.
Okay.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah, my computer, I don't know, for some reason my battery's not charging and it won't last the whole time, so I didn't want to put it on there.
Yeah, I have a similar thing. So my computer has to be plugged in all the time and it doesn't feel good.
So what do we do about that? We can't get a new battery for them or what?
A long time ago, you could because you could take the battery out of the computer. Now I'm not sure. I literally just, when I use my computer, I have it plugged in.
Yeah, that's what I try to do too, but even the plug-in don't go fast enough. So if it's already dead,
Oh, well, let's
it'll
talk
shut off.
later. Mountain Eagle, let's talk later so that we can figure out something with technology for you, okay?
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I don't know that much, but I know people who do. Hey, so I'm still letting people in. We are
Cool.
recording, just letting you know, we're recording and we are live already. We have 60 or 70 people signed up. But nowadays, a very low percentage of who signs up shows up live. I'm one of these people too, because then we can always just access the replay um, whenever we're ready.
Okay.
So take your time. I'm still getting people in. I don't know how to make it go speaker view so that when we speak, oh well, I'll figure it out next time. Zoom changed recently.
I think if you hit view, so I've just looked at it, and then you check speaker. I know they literally keep changing it every time you use it, right?
Yeah, so how does it go so that it goes on each speaker?
I think if you check speaker, it should, or multi-speaker, I think.
So I'm clicking on myself and it says view profile, mute audio, stop video, blur background, video effects, spotlight for everyone, hide self view. Doesn't matter. I'll figure it out for next time.
Yeah.
Hello everybody. We're still all checking in. I'm still fiddling with technology. Mountain Eagle is also fiddling with technology.
I'm okay though. There's no blur, stuff
No,
like that.
I can see you.
Good. That's what matters most. I'm gonna have to set up a studio here so I can give me a good background. I like yours.
You can do the background, which I'll show you another time, not here live, but yeah, it's easy enough to do. Okay. So, are you okay? Okay. How ready are you to start?
Able and willing.
Okay, good. I'm still admitting people in. So this is what I want to say. We'll talk briefly about how we know each other. I will then read a text message that you sent me at 333. Do you know you sent me a message at 333?
No, but
333.
I know every time I connect with something, it's always in really special times. So yeah,
So it makes
good.
sense. So let's start with this. So this is the wisdom of the Washishu. We have Dahlak Pahtahlngee, Mountain Eagle, Arthur George. This is you. And it's your time to speak. May there be other times. And I think I will start with reading a message that I get from you today at 333. 333. And this is what I get. Remember one thing. The reason we're all here on earth is to learn to love. More than the word can be defined, expressed. This is the reason free will knows strength comes from within. Now, with that, I want to add, I kept having this feeling of Washishu, Mountain Eagle, for the now times. For the now times. And I had no other words other than, we need to hear you. And obviously, when I say you, to me, you're so dialed into so much that it's not just you, it's Washishu.
Yes. And you know what the word Washishu means?
Many people?
Yeah, well, the old people used to always say, Washishu means all the people. But the old days, the old timers, ancestors would call the people land, animal, air, water, plant, and human. See, so all one family of all of us.
So, in my words, I would say, for me, that's all my people, but I guess people think that people are humans. For you, me, people are crystals, animals, trees, the land. And so I would say all the beings, but it sounds and feels better as all my people, all the people.
Yeah, yeah.
So briefly, how do we know each other? So to get that out of the way, say hello, people.
Hello, people.
So me and Mountain Eagle met over a decade ago. We were both, actually, Mountain Eagle was presenting at our beloved David Miller, who continues to do workshops and events, and they're all about ascension and focused on Arcturian energy and technology, but bringing in wisdom from sacred texts such as Native American and Indigenous and other energies that David Miller is connected to. And when I saw Mountain Eagle, I looked at him and I thought, oh, he's famous. I know him. But apparently it wasn't from this lifetime. So that's how I know Mountain Eagle. But you go by Dahlak Pahtahlngee. Actually, can you say your name, please?
Dahlak Pahtahlngee.
There you go.
It just rolls off the tongue.
So I
So
think
before we keep going, can I say a prayer first?
yes, please.
And I always like to, we always say a prayer because it's not just the human beings or the physical beings that we have to ask into the circle, but also the ancestors and the spirits and helpers and whatnot. Okay. Grandfather, grandmother, Gashugakamana, Hung Lauti, Tongue Lauti, Well Melty, Pawalu, Ida now Huti Wetman, Meat Lap. Dimilosha, Disuyasha, Migalam Shemwe, Dikesha. I'm going to say a little bit here in English because I want to express what it is that we're doing here. Kind of to give the earth a voice, we need to say these words, and may all the beings be spoken for when they can't speak for themselves. We have survived, and it's time to put back the agenda of the heart. Because the whole process of man being on earth and taking over, they tried to take the heart from the family. As those beings on earth are given life, so are the emotions of character. So to have an example of true allodial title of responsibility, like a system of harmony and peace, to stand up and to identify the corporate personality, which has no emotions, in a system designed to plunder, mitigate, and deny. That peace and harmony is missing. Natural law and natural order have been compromised. We are here today telling a story of human identity and human design system of self-genocide. When is today we decide to tell the story of returning to the evolutionary ladder of life on Earth, existence as real flesh and blood with a heart and a soul. Mangawe, mangawe, mangawe.
Mangawe. I was at an event that I was bringing in energy healing, and your words came in. This is the first time that happened to me. It was a few weeks ago, and I was hearing you saying Amangawe. What does it mean?
Thank you. Thank you when you're expressing to somebody that they're doing really good,
Thank you, because it was at the end of the event, and yeah, and that makes sense. What did you said something once about, and it was among away, and there was something about grandmothers.
Grandmothers?
I don't know. I think you were talking about the circle.
Yeah, our circle in the heart. When we return to the circle and we return to the heart. Yeah.
Yeah. So you did the opening prayer. You know what I would like us to do right now is to feel, because I feel like you're a volcano of information. And if you're like me, you just don't know where to begin. There's something big happening now astrologically. There's definitely a lot happening on the earth right now. I think a lot of people are very divided and upset. But I wanted to bring positive news, and I keep having these words in my head for these now times. So let's take a breath right now. I think that you and me are fed up with seeing our brothers and sisters and all of us in the state of where we are, because you're dialed into a different way of living and being, a different way of being human and being, I keep hearing the word humanity. And you always tell me, you're always talking about people, the people, us, the brothers and sisters. It's almost as though you keep thinking, I keep thinking of individual. I'm American. We're so, everything is segregated and we keep thinking of us. But every time I talk to you, you're always talking about everyone. Maybe this is a starting point for this dialogue right now.
Yeah, it's interesting. I I was born to do this job, but I wouldn't do it until I got to the future. And now that I'm in the future, all the information that's coming to me is trying to uh, just get people to realize not to separate ourselves from each other. We're all on the same path of life, where we're going, what we need to do, and responsibilities and all that. But each one of us have a specific job. So as individuals, we are different. You know, we all will never be the same, but we do come together and we get along because all the different differences make up the whole of something. So we're not missing anything. And so this is what one description that I like now that I'm doing is, you know how you say I comma, we comma, you comma, me
Yes.
comma, them, I we assume them. Take the commas out and make one word. I, we, us, you, me, them.
I
That's
assume
one
them.
word. Yeah, so it gives everybody a chance to be themselves, but yet they're part of the one word.
I like that.
Yeah. But I think that's what it's going to take for us in a new paradigm as modern, as the modern example, elder, guide, teacher, the ones that experience it now. But later on in life, down the road, we're going to be the ancestors um, from this time in the future. So it's up to us to be really good examples. What we say, what we do, what we think, what we believe, how we treat each other, what we dream. All those things are going to go into the pool of intention for the next generations. So that's why it's kind of important for us to really watch out what we say and how we feel and all that, and just try to constantly bring out the realization that what it is we do have control of and what it is we don't have control of. So there's no reason to talk about what we don't have control of, because we don't have any control of it. It can change. But what we do have control of is what we do. And that's what's missing in the world now, is just people are waiting for somebody to give them the answer, waiting for them to give them information, when we all have the ability to tap into the source. You know, that's where we got the pineal gland. And you say, hearing my voice, or you hear my words. I hear this a lot. Years back, I was living in a mountain and watching all these galactic things happen with planets and UFOs and all these kind of things going on in the sky. And all of a sudden, I heard this voice. And my God, it was a voice in the universe. And it told me, I don't really exactly what the words was, but it reverberated in the cosmos. And it was almost like it was telling me it's time. You know, so that's why I kind of stepping up a little bit more and pushing things out a little bit more, because we're all receiving that information from the source of all life. And we are the mechanism for the physical world to receive it. So we're just missing all of the seers and the guides and the translators, because for 2,000 years everybody's for 182 years. So it's a lot easier for me to return back to what's important, and it's not distraction. It's taking a step back and just remembering what the old people used to say. They used to say, you're not going to be living in the future like we are now, the old days. You're going to be living in a new time. But as long as you practice your cultural identity, your songs, your rattles, your drums, your flutes, your songs, then you're always going to be able to receive that information coming that's all around us. And so the world today is moving forward, but they're not remembering their songs,
Yeah.
their rattles and all that. I mean, some people have been away from their culture for 2,000 years. How do you expect them to return back to something that that has been asleep for a long time? They're almost to the point where they forgot it. But you know, they didn't forget it because people wrote this down. I mean, they did a cultural harvesting over these 2,000 years and consolidated all this information from all the people that they went across. And now the corporate personality has all this information about people through the algorithm, but that's only information that's being put into a system. We're still receiving information that isn't even in the system.
Yeah, I have, so I have this feeling, and you are already talking about it, because if we're thinking about these now times, I am part of the Western global culture civilization. I am aware that the global culture is colonized. We are living in colonized mind, thought, everything. And I feel that we're missing something deeply. We're missing ourselves. We're missing connection to the land. Something is off. And I know that within us, we can tap back into the all, everything. But I think some of us forget that everything can even just simply be the ladybug next to us, the soil beneath us. So it's this reconnection that I'm feeling a great call to do and to talk about. How are you connected with everything around you?
Well, the thing is that when I came to Earth, there was something missing. That's why I'm here. And since I've been here, I've experienced the um, missing link, let's call it. And that is the link to the family, the structure of family. The intrusions went around all the ancient villages all over the world and disturbed their family. So a lot of people that I know, they don't have family. They just have themselves, and sometimes they don't even like the few family they got, so they just ignore them. So that's really interesting because uh, my people here, only 182 years, even though we kind of don't get along now, the jealousy and animosity against each other because they got us all living next to each other. But the one thing we do have is family yet. And so the kids are now coming up and they're wanting to connect. I had a gathering the other day just to test it to see if this was what it was, and sure enough, it was. Because the younger generation, two generations now, they're growing up and they got kids, and their kids are going to be having kids pretty soon. So that's the new adults. But them young kids, they haven't learned some of the cultural identity because it's been held back from them. And now they want to come together and they want to learn those things. They want to sit with family and just talk. You don't have to have no specific reason. Just sit and talk and have a talking circle once in a while. And so that feeling that I'm getting from the next generation is we adults have to take a step back and realize there's a younger generation watching us, looking for the example. And when we're not good examples, they have nothing to base a foundation of their own identity. So I really believe that if you have family, to put your differences aside and bring them together, those few that want to come together, build a fire, have a talking stick so everybody can have a chance to talk. And if you
I'm seeing technical
people,
difficulties. Okay.
yeah, that you can talk with so that you can figure out you're not the only one that's going through this, or you're not the only one thinking this, or you're not the only one receiving this. You know, it takes a family in order to help each other not only grow but feel protected and supported. And so for me, as my family um, is starting to come together, I see down the road it's going to be a lot better for them because I waited 58 years to get this information out. And now, like you said, the plethora of information is just building. It's just built up to where you don't know where to start. But as long as we have our little group of people or a few friends we got, then we can share this information and grow from there. But we need to start doing human things, not AI stuff, like just trying to make up things and just do whatever. There's no foundation of family in that. That's just information and people can do those things. But the foundation of what's here on earth and what has never been forgotten until now is family. They went around the world and took and broke families up. Now that they've gone all the way around and where we are today, they figured we forgot who we are. So now they can make up this artificial identity. And everybody believes that the artificial intelligence is going to take over. It can't take over without the people. It can move on its own. It can do these things on its own, but it will never have the spirit of what people call Yeshua. The spirit, the Christ spirit. But it's not a person. It's energy and it's sound and it's light. And as long as we have that in our families, then we'll continue to carry the humanness that our spirit can and our soul can align with, so that we can experience the youth, but also the youth can experience the elders. My younger people said to me when they're sitting here, why doesn't the older people get together anymore like they used to? Because the families used to all get together and now they don't anymore. And when we got to talking, I told them, well, I'm the one that's supposed to put it together now. I'm the old person. I'm the elder of the family. And that's why we haven't got it together, because the old people are all died off now. And what they kept us together was that camaraderie or that connection that we had to family. We've had a separation here for a number of time, a little bit of time, but like you say, now that we're in, it has to do with us picking up the pieces. Some of us buried symbolism to where we're going to find it and pick it up. Others have to look into books and find this information, research your family, where you're from, what your culture did, what your songs were, what your rattles are, and just pick those things up and create that identity for yourself, so that it's a cultural identity that allows you to connect to others, but also add to the pool of life. Because our experience here on earth is to make it better, and to make the experience fulfilling for the whole family. Not leaving anybody out.
Mountain Eagle.
Yeah.
I'm getting very strong image. Remember when we talked, and you just mentioned a few sentences ago, you talked about you are now catching up to your future self. I am now feeling something about timelines and something about you sharing, or maybe I'm also here with you. But remember, in some other time and space where we were wearing red feathers and we were in a circle, that feels like it's a parallel or a future, but I'm being pulled into that space. There's something that I think you and me, we promised, we said we would do something, and I'm feeling that now.
Well, for me, what the feeling is when I was out in space and I didn't have a body yet, I was sitting there with the Galactics, and they were Galactic Council. I didn't look at them face to face. I just know they were there, and I'm sitting out there, and all of a sudden they asked me if I'm ready to go to the Earth to to do my part, because the people were asking for help. And so, through their prayers and all that. So the Galactic Council, I think it was the head council person, looks over at me and says, "You ready?" And I said, "Yeah." And in my mind, in my heart, I already knew what we were talking about, and they knew what I was talking about, what I feel, what I know. And I'm just sitting and waiting. And when they said that, "Are you ready?" I said, "Yeah." Instant like that, I was in my mom's belly.
Wow.
So what I remember why I came to Earth was the purpose of why I came to Earth was to bring back that which is missing, and that is the heart of the people. But I have to bring them back to the circle of life. So if most people in the world tell me, that all the job I'm doing or what I'm doing is impossible because it's never going to happen. But those are only doubters because they've lost their way. But for us, like the elders told me, one day when you get there to the future, and it's so crazy, I keep saying that, and I go, how did them old people know this stuff before it even happened? And then when I get here, and now that I'm here, yeah, I do recognize it. It is that time that when I got to the future, I would recognize it. And they used to tell me, they said, when you get there, you're going to be alone because not many people are going to remember.
Yeah, that's what it
So
feels like.
that's why you're there, is because you're supposed to bring it back.
Yeah.
And so that's my job, is to bring this back. And it's the hardest thing because I have to figure out the people first and how to tap into their the side that's missing.
Yeah.
Allow them to tell me or be like to share with me what it is that they're feeling, so that I can understand and feel from them that when you're missing your heart, you have no answers. You're always looking on the outside of yourself.
That's a good point.
But if you have a heart, now you have your heart memory. And so that heart memory is more powerful than your brain memory. So if you can remember from your heart, you can begin your life again. And so returning to the circle is bringing people into the cultural practices and beliefs. Some of us, we've been doing this for 32,000 years, so it's not real hard for us to return back to it because it's only been 182 years missing from our lives. But some people have been missing theirs for 2,000. That's the answer, is for those people to remember that they had family. And if we're going to correct this state of being on Earth, then if we're really adults, if we're really conscious ancestors or elders, then we would realize that we have a responsibility to put back something that is missing, that was taken from us all through intrusions. But now we have to all return back to the evolutionary ladder, which we've allowed ourselves to deviate away from it, and even allow the world around us to create the first human genocide, earthly genocide, And so we just all want to just keep following along that, oh, that's just natural, that's just normal. No, it's not. If you want your family to continue to live like the old people said, you'll pick up the pieces of what the ancestors of your nation had prescribed through practice, dance, talking stick. That's like the most important thing when you sit around a fire and have the talking stick. The fire can hear you. Like we were saying, all the people. The fire is another being, but you don't realize the fire can talk to another fire across the earth. Instantaneous. See, so whatever you say here, they receive on the other side. So what they say on the other side, we receive on this side. So, I'm with this. I'm a commissioner on the World Hereditary Council, for the ITNJ, International Tribunal for Natural Justice, and the other elders of around the world. We think the same. I mean, we're totally different places, but we think the same. So if we can just give each other information of where we are, then we can kind of bring it together. Now we can kind of be like an earthly family that's sharing with each other so that we all can return back to a source so that we don't have to think about how we're going to come together. That's how we all come together, is through a fire, talking stick, and sharing with each other. And if people all over the world do this real simple thing, they'll put a spark back in their heart, put a spark back in the circle of life. And that's where, when you say that, we're at that point where we're connecting up and we're seeing these things that are happening, that we can help each other. That's why we're together. I think another question that you had.
Yeah.
How am I StarBrother? What was that?
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because the story for me is, when there was animals, plants, air, and water, everything on Earth was here, and when God, the energy of God, told our ancestor Nentishu that the humans were going to be brought here to speak for those that can't speak for themselves, and we're going to be part of this. We didn't have any hands and feet, so we were etherical beings, and so that's why I know, between you and I know that's why we connected, because you're an etherical being also. And so we've all come to Earth for a reason. But then you have a second phase of people, like in our story here, about them gathering a bunch of seeds, spreading them across the Earth, and them becoming these different tribes, more and more people. And I agree with that, because a lot of those people, they really are only interested in earthly things. They can't see the galactic, everlasting, But me, it's like I've been to so many places. I've been so many things in my life, in these lives, that my consciousness is not just Earth. It's all over. And so I do know the difference between a heavenly being and an earthly being. Some of the earthly beings are just to populate the Earth and be part of the family. But us cosmic beings, we're here to make sure everybody remembers all the experience we have on Earth.
I love
and
that.
not to leave it out.
Hold on. I think now is the moment, Mountain Eagle, to take some questions. I keep feeling, I feel we might have some questions pop up. So it might be easier for me if I just hear you. I'm not that good with technology. Does anybody have questions for this, what we're doing? For Mountain Eagle? And if you don't have a question now, write them down, because we will pause at another point also. I definitely have questions too. Just wanted to give everybody a chance to put forth their voice.
Kia ora, Dahlak.
Hello. Hi,
This
Marina.
Marina.
Hi, Marina.
Kia ora. Hi, I haven't got a question for you, but just wanted to acknowledge and share that whakamana
Oops, you got cut off. Hello?
of remembrance from the ancestral planes comes down through the form and the physical. So as you're explaining it, I can sort of see how we've become entrapped in the colonial explanations of everything that seem to get us tangled up over and over and over. And if we misinterpret this, or we're using different words that mean this to us, oh no, I meant that, what are you talking about? But then the interpretation that gets passed forward is a false reflection So that authentic identity, hey, that's our priority, to know that we're not ever from just one star system, are we? Arcturus, and we call Arcturia moving into this multiverse, Ruwahia. Our people call that Whetu, that star system, Ruwahia for Arcturia. And as all of the remembrance is coming back through our lines into our bones have to integrate what the blood remembers and the fat inside the body. We forget about the physical form being the primary source to hold all the memories, while we're here. You're given the birth, you can't leave till you leave it. So while you're here, you've got to be as present as we can from the multiversal space, but having to come down the birth canal. So I'm with Dahlak on the ITNJ. We're commissioners looking into moving forward by going back. So I've come here to just listen to Dahlak's sharing, and to we would call it to tautoko, to support and stand beside my Indigenous brother. We're over in New Zealand on Aotearoa on the other side, and we're currently being hit by a massive hurricane.
Oh.
Mm.
So more energy integration, eh? So even when we get lots of rain and storms, it's energy integration. They're bringing it through. Whatever, go out and stand in it. Go out and stand in it, barefoot on the whenua, on the land. And through your toes and your nose, everything comes back into the form through remembrance. Be the inner child. It's lovely to see you sitting there, Dahlak. I can see there's that light shining up on you again. Coming on your left shoulder this time. The last 2 times that I saw Dahlak on one of these Zooms in this last week, he's had beams of light shining straight across the camera that have cut across we call it the rai, the ma rai, the place where we stand in our whatu manua, where our pineal gland sits. And every time the beam of light was like, whoop, and always came across the brow into the temple. So now it's dropped down to your shoulder. And I would probably say, from where I'm looking, it's because of the multiversal collective that's sitting here in this live space time. Because I can feel there's lots from Tautoru, from Orion's belt, coming out from what we could call Kurawaka, the middle star of Orion's belt. Andromeda, I can feel some Sirians in the house, some Lyrans. Very multiversal. So kia ora, Dahlak.
Yeah. Thank you, Marina.
And kia ora, I've forgotten the name, the lady.
Alessandra.
Alessandra. Kia ora, Alessandra.
Hi, Marina. Thank you for your voice and your presence.
Kia ora.
Alessandra, there was somebody that texted to Armstrong that said something on a text.
You're for the messages right here on
Yeah,
the chat?
Gina Armstrong. I've seen it pop up, but it didn't say the whole message.
There was thank you, hello from the forest, and whoop whoop to the elders support. That's the messages we got so far.
Oh, cool.
That's Marina. Thank you. I'm feeling something coming in. Let me feel it for a second, giving us a pause in case there's any more sharing. My feeling is that there's a lot of negativity and our focus is being stolen. Our identities have been stolen, our focus and our consciousness, what we're thinking of. And when I hear you talk, and then I heard Marina talk, it feels the focus and the energy is returned to something more real. And my very strong feeling for having talked with you, Dahlak, is that, as you say, returning to the circle, returning to the heart, my very strong feeling is that weirdly, there's a lot more positive happening that we are not consciously looking at, or that we're not even allowed to look at. And when Marina was talking, she mentioned the tornado, and I thought, oh no, I'm so sorry. Are people okay? Are their houses okay? And then Marina says that's stirring things up. I thought, oh yes, well, there's the positive of a tornado. So that is the strong feeling that I had with this, because I kept thinking, these now times, these now times. And the feeling that I have is things are not only, people might think, oh, this is irreparable. We humans are horrible. The politics are disgusting. Unacceptable things are happening to each other. This is irreparable. We're beyond the point of no return. But my feeling is, you're here on Earth, Dahlak. I am. Other people are. We're good people. I think there's a lot of good people. And each of us people have a sphere of influence. And the more we feel connected to the land, for me, I'm connected to the fairies, connected to the grandmother whales, then we are actually more effective at being the good change by simply being. And I think that is one of the messages that we might be doing and embodying and sharing right now is, don't worry, don't be too concerned about what you're seeing. Yes, it's real. Don't be stupid and have your head in the sand like I usually do, but focus back on who are we? And you mentioned our identity, human identity. Well, who are we? I wish that we would be more connected, like you're saying, to our roots, our ancestors, and yeah, global culture, because of the way things are, colonization over and over and over. So many of us are very cut off, thousands of years, like you said, but things can flip. Like you said, research your ancestry. Then the minute you look, you can, the floodgates are open and we can feel and embody this reconnection. So there's something here with that.
You know, Alessandra,
Yeah.
Alessandra, that when you said that, it reminded me because Marina, whenever we talk, and another guy named Bryce and Isabella, that whenever we talk, it's interesting because um, it's like we just have to remember one guy talked to me yesterday, matter of fact, a white guy. He had no Indian blood or whatever, but all his values and his thinking and everything is exactly to what I think. And he's wondering how he can help. And the funny part about it was the spirit kept telling me to let him know that just because he's white doesn't mean that he doesn't have the influence I got with the information I'm getting, because he's getting the same information. And I told him, I said, it's so interesting that people always are looking for someone to tell them an answer when the answer is inside of them. We are Holocaust survivors, the human race, not just Native people, not just Celtic people, not just German people, but everybody. We're all survivors. And so now it has to do with our example. And we all know we've gone to war. We all know that war has been called on our families. But now that the war is kind of over, me and him and other people, that Marina, we are the examples. We are the next generation. We are the next elders. We are the elders of now. So it's up to us to rise above ourselves, look down on ourselves, and see how we're connecting with others that are likeness of ourselves. and that we can support each other, bringing in the information of how we should relate to the nature, the natural world, the natural law, the artificial world, the new corporate identity. They don't care about natural law. They don't care about the heart. It's all about business. And we understand that. There's no emotions. That's where we now have to bring emotions back into our lives by not only bringing our family and friends together, but also to be those elder examples, um, um, giving what as much as we can to the pool of information because we're receiving it in our own way. And as long as we're walking in alignment, the information is pertinent because I can't speak and everybody can understand. Some people will not even get it. But the person next to me speaks and all of a sudden those people understand.
Right.
So now we actually get that bigger picture view so that people can see more of how we're included with each other. Because we're all bringing something back that was broken up, separated, and we've been talked into that it can't come back, that we can't do that no more.
Right.
That's just the way it is.
Right. That's exactly what I'm saying. Is like, oh no, things, I don't know how I feel or know this, but I know that pollution can be fixed like this the minute things fall into place. Pollution, all these massive extinctions of plants and animals, I know that can come back too. This concept of things being irreparable is inaccurate. Now, if we continue, well, we'll lose all of planet Earth. That will be quite hard. But as we are right now, we actually have the power, all of us. And I just wish we could feel it more. I'm not saying I'm aware of this knowledge all the time. I have my down moments, but there's moments when I'm aware of all the things that you're saying as being true, and the feeling of, oh, if only we'd be a little bit more activated or a little bit more feeling that just being here and contributing in one way or another, that things can actually shift radically.
Well, they kind of are in this way now as we come into this new paradigm. We got people like Jose Munoz. Remember Jose?
Yes, tell us,
Um,
the Mayan calendar holder.
yeah, and the things he's been doing is bringing out the information a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time, and just giving people that forgot their customs and traditions. He's given you information that you can begin to incorporate these values back into your or principles back into your modern practice. And so that's by putting something back that was taken out. People say this, everything's messed up. Well, it's because you don't have the right information.
Right,
If you have the right
exactly. Right.
information,
Yeah.
then you can share and you can help.
Yeah. That's what I'm feeling. Yeah.
And that's what Jose is doing. And then another gal that I've been working with too, she's a white lady, but she's a very strong indigenous person because she's tapped into our native society on what needs to be done, and she gives people um, the ability to rattle, to sing songs, to do prayer, but they're not trying to be anybody. They're just
Yeah.
trying to be human again,
Yeah.
and to be able to be a participant in this
Yes.
world. And so I really love that. And her name is Denise Sheehan. She's a sage spirit, um, sage spirits. Um, I forgot the whole name. But
It'll come.
her classes and stuff, she's got like 200 to do it for themselves, And so Jose is doing the same thing. He's reaching out to all people, anybody that wants to come in and learn and to tap into being the being human on earth and being responsible and loving and caring and taking care of each other and all that. That's where this is going. You know, we are the ones doing it, just like you, Alessandra, doing this interview here. I would look forward to it for so many years, and then all of a sudden, yesterday came up, and I'm getting kind of like, okay, well, I guess I'm kind of getting kind of excited. Then last night came up, and I'm going, oh shit, it's tomorrow. Then this morning come up, and I'm going, oh man, am I really ready?
I know the feeling. I know the feeling. Let's take a pause here, so you can take a mini break. Although you're on, I want to hear from anyone, how are we all contributing? And I don't mean action oriented necessarily, but it's all the things that we've just been talking about right now, is to feel, how are we feeling positive? I can tell you, for example, my mother in Chicago is part of she created a co-op. She also has sustainable local organic vegetables for herself and others. And I would say, I'm not sure if my mom's aware, but I would say she is a vegetable access to proper nutrition activist. She's an activist for many things. I call myself a spiritual activist. So these are small, big ways of how we're changing or contributing to the community around us. Anybody want to share? What are you doing? What are you thinking? What are you feeling? I want to read, there was 2 lovely comments here. So thank you, Moni. Sabra, did you want to say something? Because I like what you said here. Sabra wrote, Grand Rising Mother Earth is mixing and shifting to the new dimension. We are forgetting to connect, having to be aware of politics, but realizing our spirit influence is fixing things. Manifesting, we are spirit beings having a human experience. Thank you, Sabra. I connect a lot with fairies, elementals, and they're not really small. They can be big and scary in a good way. Tribal, fierce, large fairy beings, and I really feel them present right now. Oh, Richard is a spiritual warrior protector, allowing people to raise in consciousness shift. Thank you, Richard. And so I wanted to bring a little bit of sound in here.
Hello?
Hello, who's speaking?
Did I make it? I'm sorry, I was pushing buttons trying to figure out how to get in here.
Oh, there's Sabra. Hello.
Hi, Grand Rising. Forgive my messy hair. Hongo Maheji.
Morning,
Hi,
morning,
Uncle. Hi. So I'm really honored to have Dahlak as my blood relative. That's my uncle. And it's just a great honor to be a part of this. And thank you, Alessandra, for your work and your service, and everybody who's joined here with us today. I see a good friend of mine, Aiden, is on with us too. Thank you. You know, it's been interesting, and I know, like my uncle, I have a lot of work to do. And, you know, to be his little minion here soon, to where I can spend time with him and come into those circles. You know, I'm a witness to all the beautiful things that he has going on in our community here. You know, it's difficult to walk around and wonder why people can't see things the way that I do or you guys do. You know, I always thought that there was something. And I'll share with you guys, I'm a recovering alcoholic and drug addict myself. So losing my identity as a young woman, but knowing my relatives that are, you know, in the celestials now prayed for me as a little girl. in our traditional Shishu ways. I'm remembering that now. After all the years of trauma, I'm remembering that and getting to watch my uncle and see him and be a part of his community and walk with him in this journey is a great honor. And I look forward to being a teacher, but I can't be a teacher until I master being a student. So I'm here to learn. I'm here to absorb whatever wisdom I can so that I can pass that on to my next generation. So thank you guys for all of you do. We are truly blessed to have this time and space. So I hope
Thank you,
everybody
Sabra.
has a love you,
Sabra,
Uncle.
thanks.
Love you too.
Sabra, I think we're all teachers and students if we can be. I think anybody that says they're a teacher and only a teacher, I'm like, poo poo, we're both of it. I think we can be learning at the same time. So thanks. Thanks for being here. I was gonna play my crystal harp. I think this is a pause. Don't worry, we would love to hear from anybody else that wants to talk or share, but let's take a little pause. As I expected, a lot of this is energy. Beyond the words that we've been sharing, there's energy that wants to come in and it is already here beyond the words. And this is great. This is the feeling I thought we would be creating. Dahlak, so thank you. So let us take a break from our mind. Dahlak, can you hear the crystal harp?
Beautiful.
This is my family, the crystals. Crystals are living beings for me. And there's minerals, there's silver on this crystal harp. I have visions of living inside a giant living crystal, if that makes sense. And that my auric field is expanded and gets to merge with the wisdom, the love, the technology of the crystal light, crystal beings, crystal kingdom. And behind the trees and the elementals and the rocks is the electrical life force that is in the minerals, the crystals, and this light web connecting all of us. Which is why I have behind me, it's a Zoom background, Dahlak. We'll figure out how to click it then. This beautiful Zoom background that has the earth. I wanted us just to focus on the earth, all of us, humanity. And as the WaSheShu, as you are sharing with all of us brothers and sisters, the family is the crystals, the trees, the birds, everything. How on earth can us humans be so outrageous and think we're the only ones or the important ones when we are deeply part of the earth? So let us go deeper, again, beyond the mind, beyond the words, and let us receive. Maybe there's a little charge, a little bonus for us to absorb and take. I mean, we're all here giving and receiving, so it's okay to receive a little bit more. I'm feeling, again, these crystal fairies, and they're all thanking you, Dahlak, and your family for being here. And as you're speaking up for everyone, all of us, everyone that has been stopped. There's a big light ray coming down on earth right now. It's a new opening. It's a new light. It's new support. It's new love. So let's receive it and anchor it. So this energy that we're being given from the universe and the crystals and the earth, it's the energy to do more, be happier, be more full of life, so that we can enjoy being here, so it can be just a little bit more comfortable, so that we can do what we do. And that our own brand of being, our own brand of weird is here to be expressed. I think the odder we can be, the better at this point in time, in a good way. So thank you, thank you, thank you. A mini pause. I'm not sure how much longer we have, because when you speak, Mountain Eagle, you're bringing in a lot to digest. So does anybody have anything they want to share or ask? Mountain Eagle, I have a funny question for you. And I think I've already asked you this, but it wasn't on camera. So, some of us, I have some friends, we love the big power of dragons, the feeling of dragons, the family that they are in different cultures. And so I did ask you this: do you think that dragons in other forms were part of your Washishu stories?
Yeah, they are. We had two kinds here. We had one that was called Ong, and people always say it was a great big eagle. But for me, every time they tell the story, it always reminds me of a pterodactyl because it used to come in take some of the washos when they were in the villages, and every once in a while to fly over and it would come grab people, you know. So we've had that story of to watch out for those things like that. But there's also another story of Long had a nest in the middle of Lake Tahoe, and whenever the Ong would take the people into the nest to feed the babies, they had this one warrior that got caught, and he had a pouch full of arrowheads, and he noticed that when the Ong would eat, that the eyes would go back, and they would, you know, wouldn't be looking. His eyes would fold back, so he wouldn't be seeing. So every time he opened his mouth, the warrior would throw some arrowheads in his mouth, and so that's what ended up killing the Ong in the end. But the guy, young warrior, the bird was so big that he just got one of the feathers and sat on it and floated to the shoreline from the middle of Lake Powell. You know, so there's different stories that, like you say, of mythological beings or whatever, or dinosaurs that used to exist here, and so they're always a part of our life, and they shape our life, because we know there's more to it, more here than what we can see. What used to be here is in our stories. You know, even this to integrate into our stories to tell the younger generation so that they can be prepared for whatever it is that's happening to us, and we be prepared for it so that it doesn't affect us, and that we discern as well as create protections or the knowledge in order to be able to withstand whatever we're facing.
That brings me to, so you're sort of answering it already, but that was a big topic that I had for you and us today. And I think you've already answered and addressed all of it, but I have to say, there's something going on right now, these days, these weeks. It feels like a pressure cooker. There's something going on. I keep thinking these now times. And I kept wanting to ask you, what do you think is going on now? And I don't mean just the negative and the positive. What is happening on Earth now from what you feel?
Well, that's interesting because I was just thinking about, I wanted to describe the two things that's happening. Back in the old days, we had practices and beliefs and the beliefs that we had. And these beliefs and practices we had kept us connected, kept us in a line, kept our stories together. You know, we constantly was in communication. And one of them was the talking stick, the talking circle, the fire pit, you know, the cultural lineage, ancient and modern, you know, family, social gatherings, you know, and that's what we had for generations. Then we have a new world that has come in now, and it's been here on my continent for over 700 years. But you know, like it says, it's been part of the world for 2,000 years, coming in and affecting people's lives. But the side that we have as people, as human beings, or as beings here on Earth, we have emotions, we have integrity, we have spirit. We develop our identity. We listen to nature. We listen to the heart. We listen to the entities outside of ourselves. And there was never homeless, and there was never hungry. Nowadays, in this modern time, we got a world that we're living in, the design system that has intruded upon people. It has no emotions. It has karma. It denies whole self. People don't know what to think because they're not listening to the spirit that they're waiting for people to tell them. The world we're in is selfish, and there's capitalists, and there's homeless and hungry. So all them attributes of the world we're living in, everybody believes that we have to go that way. We have to continue to stay that way. When we don't, we can begin to add emotions back into our families, add emotions back into our way of life. And so to tell the story, again, like you were mentioned a while ago, every time we hear the story, it's always about all the bad things or positive, negative things, or the things that are happening that we have no control of. And so it just seems like, and we're letting it happen, and we're all agreeing that we have to continue to in that story the way it's being told. It's almost like people aren't getting it. You know, we can tell our own story. We can begin to tell our own story in each of our communities. And eventually, after each community begins to tell their story, now the story of negative is neutralized, because now the people are starting to see what they have to offer and not waiting for somebody else to give it to them. And so that's where we just got a feeling some people in the call here are listening, and they're saying, how can I fit in? I'm just one person, you know. I don't know my culture. I don't know these things. Well, you know, it only takes one person to make change. And if that one person stood up and did their learn some of their cultural ways that happen in books and all that. If they don't have information, then they start putting it to practice. Then from that person comes another person, and that person comes from two more people, and then that can come 4 people. So we begin our cultural identity again, because us Native people, we have to begin our culture again too, because we're not practicing the culture.
Yeah.
A lot of Native people think they're practicing the culture because they're still have some ceremonies at home, still have some gatherings, but we're missing the one thing, each other. If we can do things in our own culture, and then when we end up with each other, then our cultures have continuity. Now we're talking about being able to celebrate. Instead, people want to do things and they want to say, well, we don't do it that way, or we don't do it this way. Well, don't do it that way then. But do it the way that you know how. Then you start practicing those things, then you can pass them down to the next generation, and they can weed out what doesn't work and what works, so they can gain more and more acceptance of a cultural identity. Now, us Native people, we have thousands of years here where we're missing the one element, which is love. If we can just love one another and accept who everybody is, then those that are negative can learn to be positive, can be shown how to be positive, can see what it is to be positive. But if we're trying to tell people what to do, it's not going to work. It's going to take people time to do it for themselves. But if they do, it's going to be a lot faster. You know?
I keep hearing the word sacred. You mentioned emotions, integrity, and nature, and I feel like they're all ingredients, and you're mentioning love now. I keep feeling I saw a big sign of love, and before this, before you and me today here with everyone, and now I hear the word sacred, and I feel we're really missing that. You mentioned corporations, and so I think you are in better touch with sacredness, probably also with you're saying with ceremonies. I also wanted to mention, thank you, Mountain Eagle. 1 second. Aiden, you said something beautiful. Do you want to say what you said here? Do you want me to read it? Yeah,
Good morning, everyone. I'll keep it short and sweet. I just pray for all of us that we have the unity and our diversity in our families, in our communities, to have this strength to create these healing circles. I'm sure we're all doing a lot in our lives, but I just pray for all of us that we can do some healing and some gathering in our communities, right? And that's all. Thank you so much, everyone. Blessings.
Blessings.
I think you had more to say. It's okay to speak. So, Aiden, this is what Aiden wrote. I know we all probably read it. Aiden, I'm gonna read it, but then if you wanna, I think that was just the beginning. You had more to say. So, hello from Sawyer, Nevada, Washishu, Paiute, Shoshone lands. Bless our wisdom gathering and sharing today. Thank you, everyone here. Thank you for all in all your sacred names. May Creator give us cohesion and strength, unity in our diversity. Thank you for the healing crystal harp. These are indeed very potent times astrologically. I'm not into astrology, meaning I don't know it, but I feel it. So I'm really feeling that. This new cycle, I am called to both to spend alone quiet time, as well to work with others, to create gatherings, talking circles, family healing, art events, singing. I need to come over there because that sounds fun. Earth Day is coming soon. When is Earth Day? April 22nd. I thought so. April 22. So Aiden, I feel like you had something else to say. In fact, or I was curious because you kept saying healing, and that I felt it strongly.
Just most honestly, I feel healing I want in my own family. My elders are in their last days. I live with my elder. He's 88, my dad. And so I feel that from the family as you were talking, Dahlak Pahtahlngee, Mountain Eagle. It's like, Sabra and I talk about this a lot, just our elders. And so that healing that I'm calling for is for myself, but it's for my little family because we do have to start with the family. As you were talking about in the beginning, we get out to the galactics because a lot of us here are galactics, and that's good. However, I need to remember to bring it back home first, and then little community circle, and then bigger, and then bigger. So that's all I'm saying is for my inspiration to heal the body, then the nuclear family, then the bigger family. Sabra and I are part of a recovery community here in Nevada, and then she's with her Washo tribe. Each of us has those ripple effects. So may we each have that strength this year to make these circles, whether it's an hour, in our community, whether it's the Earth Day events we're going to go to April 20th, just praying for each of us here to do those things this year. I get distracted by the world, and I get a little scared and lost and this and that. And yet, truly deep down, I think each one of us is really called to those healing gatherings. And I pray that we each have our boots on the ground that way and make time for that, and that they're successful. The singing, the drumming, the talking circles, all of that. I'm just putting that prayer for us here and for the healing to happen that way. Healing is connection. Healing is being seen and heard. Healing is passing the talking stick. I need to do this with my own family, right? To heal some of the emotional wounds that we're having in our little family. So that's what I want to say. Happy birthday to your mom, Moni Bay. Mom's birthday. And thank you all so much today. Maligi Gabagi, may we meet again.
Thank you, Eden. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Mountain Eagle, I think we're winding down. Whenever I do anything or hold space, it's usually about an hour and a half. So we're getting closer to that time. We can get ready for closing what we're doing. I like what you said, Aiden, because it made me feel better. I'm doing circles. I thought I've always done them, but I had several years gap, and I felt so sad that I wasn't doing it. And so now I have the Spiritual Rebels group that's in a yurt. I have a giant drum that I get to bang around and the crystal bowl. And I got invited to do it. So I felt extremely happy when somebody gives you their space and they say, here, come. Then I feel a calling. I just feel very happy. And this is here in England. I'm here in England with my partner in Yorkshire. But now for a few months, I have to go to Chicago because I have American passport and Italian passport. So then in Chicago, my friend said, come to my house, do Spiritual Rebels, play the drum, and do a circle. So I thought, oh, it gets to continue. So I was just feeling so happy that just being around people and, like you said, being seen and being heard, and all of us to be seen and heard. And somebody's saying, Moni, you want to be in the forest and play the drum? Or go to someone's house that they let you and play a drum there too. Or someone who has a house in the forest. So I am just feeling really, really, happy about what it is that we are already doing. Mountain Eagle, over to you to close this up. We're going to close up. I might play the crystal harp for a few seconds after, but what do you have for us, Mountain Eagle?
I'm really glad that you did this call because a lot of people just have to be reassured that what they're doing is right and it's needed. It's going to be a little bit hard at the beginning because we've been away from it for so long. And us Native people have a tough time because of boarding schools. They call them residential schools, but they were concentration camps to
Yeah.
sever us away from the culture. And it did a good job because 3 or 4 generations now that the people don't practice their culture. They just live thinking that they are the culture and that it'll never be separate from them, but they don't practice. So they really need to uh, get out of that shell of being embarrassed or being ashamed because they don't know their culture. You know, a lot of people had to go through that, but that's why we're here. We're here to pick up the pieces and to have gatherings. And I wanted to tell Sabra and the other gal, Aiden, that I wanted to have a gathering here at my place at least once a month, an oral history class, so that washos that don't know the oral history can come and sit with me and learn what it is that I can share with them. And if there's more information needs to be done, we can find out others that can be included to give that information. But first, we have to just begin by gathering together, learning to be family, learning to share with one another. And the big part about it all is trust. You know, a lot of people tell me, they say, I am a man. Yeah, but look how men are today. You can't trust them. You know, they say they're men, but it really isn't. Really isn't what they're doing. I'm not saying that all people that say I am a man are not doing their job, but what I'm saying is, I say a man I am because that's self-checking. I self-check myself before I go out and try to do the things that are gonna protect and provide for the family, you know. And so if us men could just look at ourselves that way, as a man I am, self-check yourself before you go out and do things so you don't offend anybody and that you do your right job, you know. And that will help the women and the children feel more safer. Because right now, this whole predatory system that we have, as well as the commodity of women and children and dead people body parts, is very profitable, and I don't see why people even look at those things as something to benefit from, when love each other, love what we do, love our job, love our families, love each other, and the whole identity of why humans are on Earth can be restored.
Mm.
You know, because right now, being on Earth, we're watching so much turmoil going on because um, we're not doing our part. Not by telling anybody what to do, but doing it for ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, every person in the world, all over the world, if you just pray, get up with the sun, say good morning to the sun, sing your songs, love one another, and care for each other with all of our problems and differences, and just allow each other to be, we're going to correct this um, gap
Mm-hmm.
that we've had all these years. And it's just up to us to bring it together. That's all. And the more you do it, the more we all receive it. It's an etherical relationship we have. You know, we all think we have to talk together. We don't. If we do it, we're already receiving it, you know, as well as giving it at the same time. So that's kind of like the message that I really want people to understand, is it's time for us to step up and practice our cultural identity,
Mm-hmm.
a cultural identity. And if you don't have one, create one,
Yeah.
because now is the time to begin,
Yeah.
and not to look back at what you
Mm-hmm.
weren't, but to look forward at what you are. I think when someone said yesterday, people say going back is not a nostalgia, it's saving the future.
I love it that you said if you don't have one, create one, sincerely, to sincerely do that without taking.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody do that for your families, do that for your next generations, because That's what we need. We need old people again back in the family, and then you got the adults, and then you got the kids. But the kids are always connected to the elders, so that they're both useful and they stay in alignment with when they're going to be an adult. You know.
Thank you. I think all the words have been said. Do you feel that?
Yeah, it feels like it does. I feel like it has, and I feel like where we're at right now is just connecting up in this way. Because for myself, I'll be I'm a cultural person, natural cultural person. I'm not a corporate person, but yet I have to run for a tribal chairman position in my tribe in order to get my foot in the door to be able to bring the cultural component back into the design. Right now, we're just corporate identities, and the tribal operations are operating without the people. They're just operating, saying we're doing this, we're doing that, but they're not bringing us together. We're not ceremonying. We're not doing things culturally. Business wise, they say we're doing great, but it's not feeding everybody. And so cultural identity has to do with sharing with everybody, not just yourself, not just the little that you got. You don't get 100% of stuff and then only serve 60%. You got to serve 100%. If anybody's just getting a little smidgen of something, that's sharing. These people nowadays, they get 60%, they get 100% of stuff. They can only give out 60% because they're taking too much.
Yeah.
They're leaving out the other 40% because somebody's taking too much.
Yeah.
Got to be equal across the board.
It's funny, I feel like if we share more, there's actually more, we receive more, and there's more for everyone. It's the concept that, what is it? People have a sense of limit. Things are limited when things done a certain way then are not limited. Scarcity
Yeah,
mentality.
They got us into a scarcity
Yeah.
identity that we're always wanting more when we have plenty.
Right. Right. Well, let's conclude here. This is maybe only the beginning. We will meet again. So let's conclude our circle here. I would like to play the harp a little bit. Does anybody have anything else to share their voice? Hello, Marina.
All right.
I'm going to go to
That's
bed
what I
now.
was thinking about. You know, I was thinking about you, Marina.
Kia ora.
Traditional tithing and giving back works.
If Marina could say a short prayer in her language with the song like she always does, it would be really, really great to do a little short piece.
I actually was feeling that, so.
Sure. Ia ho mai ngā whetū o te pō tia ki ngā tamari ki nei. Awhi mai rā I te ao I te pō. Kia tū tangata tonu ai. It's wrapping all the children of the stars in the day and the night, wrapping them in
Maho.
Thank
you, Marina.
Aho.
Kia ora.
One final thing is the crystal harp, everyone. Marina, I felt you, so I was like, yay. May all our voices be heard. May we feel supported as we are supporting. May this be a beautiful beginning, and may more of the positivities be really seen and amplified. And also for all of us, may our life be a lot more comfortable for ourselves, our family, and our community. Aho. Thank you, everyone.
Oh, thank you, Alessandra.
Thanks. So I'm going to put this up as soon as I can. I'm going to give you the video also, so you can put it on your YouTube, Dahlak. I'll have it on my YouTube, the video. I'll send people a replay link in a few days. And I'm deeply thankful that what we've created in our heart here. So thanks. Ciao.
Yeah,
Thank you, Dahlak.
I agree. Thank you very much, Alessandra.
Thanks.
Thank you for everybody that's on the call too.
Thanks. Bye, everybody. Good
I
rest.
thank the divine and all of you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Ciao, ciao.